In a Lucian matchup, though, I mean, it's very important that you just play safe and play around the potential dash or potential Q for minions. So we don't know exactly what he started yet, but in terms of itemization, we know he's got D-Blade, which means he's got a lot of, you know, raw stats. So I don't mind playing very passively here, especially because I'm running Phase Rush. But for now, I'm not really losing out on experience since he's not zoning me off the wave, so we're fine. Ooh, unlucky on that one. But we do have to keep in mind that we do actually have teleport, which means that even if we do take bad trades, if he's not able to execute properly, then we can always just reset in the lane with a resource advantage, if you will. Typically, when I play Orianna these days, I kind of like to go for an early tier on the first recall, and sometimes I'll do a cheater recall for that purpose. Now, on the new PB update, D-Ring actually is buffed, so I feel a little bit more comfortable going just straight damage on the first itemization. And it does give a decent amount of health, which is good for surviving difficult matchups. For example, Lucian is capable of killing me if he plays extremely well, so having a decent amount of health does allow me to play a little bit more inconsistently. Especially if teleport is like a fallback. But right now, there's no real reason at priority. We are Kayn into a Lee Sin. Like, I can help my Lee Sin, but if I wanted to do that, then I would have opted for Airy instead of Phase Rush in this particular game. Now, unfortunately, I can't actually see what champions are being picked in PvE because it's just not in the game yet, but when you see people go up to last hit minions, that's typically when you want to use your ball advantage to look for QWs. You want to make sure you're using your mana flow band when you can so that you can stack up some free mana resources, and then that'll help you with wave clear in the future. But right now we got a really big wave stacked up. We have two options here. We can use this as a roam time to go grab vision, or we can just go ahead and reset and then use that as an opportunity to go buy. So right now we're going to go back, we're going to buy tier, and we can probably walk back at this rate, especially because this wave is slow pushing to us, or we can teleport if we feel threatened. It just depends on how fast this person can push. And it doesn't really matter to me, like, even if I teleport here, it's actually not considered an L because I can pull the wave. And if Lucian tries to recall here, then Lucian now loses a bunch of minions because it's going to be frozen at my tower, and eventually it's just going to kill a bunch of my minions for free. Now, it is good for Lucian to reset on a cannon wave. That does mean he's not going to lose anything even if I were to hard push this. But grand scheme of things, he is losing something, and I am recovering slightly as a result of that. So it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Then I can hold the wave here, which puts him at threat of being, you know, ganked by a Lee Sin. We do know that he's listening to my stream, so he might be, you know, looking for the Lee Sin. You never really know. It could be a possibility. But we're slowly slow pushing out, which means that we can technically look for a 2v2 play if we're feeling it. Take a look at itemization, double longsword. This guy has no potions, which means that if we get damage down, which we want to do damage when he uses his E like that, then we can just have it stick perpetually. Because he's got no wave healing. I don't... You could argue that listening to comms is ghosting, but I know you're not, so it's all good. But it's kind of the same. But it's okay. We're slowly pushing. We're able to move first if we need to. If we're invading topside, then this is pretty much the best thing we can do right now, is get this position to move first. Ooh, missing all these last hits is really cringe. And I do want to put some vision down, because I haven't really used my wards yet this game. Raptors are missing. But because we outrange Lucian, every time he walks up here, we can actually put pressure on every single one of these minions and look for a Q or a W. And this is one of our really good sources of damage here that we want to play around. I'm just going to use W for the move speed. Ooh, unlucky on that one. We actually took a little bit too much damage. Yeah, if I had enough mana... Okay, dash to me. Nicely executed. Now, tower obviously does more damage. I thought I had enough damage for the ult there that Lucian was like 100% dead anyways, but... It was a little bit slow on the Lee Sin to actually hit the W there into the Q connect, because that way we wouldn't have had to do any of that. We should have just reset since the wave was pushing towards us, because Kayn is in the area. If he flashes, we'll flash herself. Is he faster than me? He actually is, wow. I'm just using that for information. Lol. Alright, we traded flash for flash. I'm gonna just go back and grab a lost chapter. It would have been lit if actually Soraka just rotated through mid. You like Phase Rush over airing? Phase Rush is better for teamfighting because it gives you the ability to reposition if you're caught out or you want to use it as an extended trade. So it's really good for avoiding ganks as well, especially in a meta that's determined by jungler influence. Now the thing is, the way that Airy's better is that Airy gives you more pressure in lane because it gives you additional damage that allows you to create that health advantage in mid lane. So if your goal is to play around your jungler in the early game or to get impact early on, you want to play Airy. If your goal is to safely scale into the mid game and then out-impact the other mid laner, then that's when you want to use Phase Rush. Now, I'm running Gathering Storm as well. I've got Magical Footwear. I've got triple scaling runes. I've got Teleport. So getting through this laning phase and being even or ahead is technically considered winning in this context. So getting kills isn't always what you need to do to succeed in a matchup. It's just about fulfilling your personal win condition. And my win condition in this matchup is just straight up surviving. Let's go on Xyite. Alright, we don't know where, you know... Damn, I actually missed every single one of those. That's an entire wave. But we gotta be careful here, because if Lucian hits us with a full ult combo, we actually just die straight up. I do not like that usage of E though, because that basically just means that he can't play like that for the next 6 seconds. I don't actually know what the cooldown on E is. I know that's affected. Is it still affected by double tapping? Or am I just delusional? Free damage. But you can also use diagonal cues. Like, you can pull the ball through to an area behind you, and that way you can get extended range. So for example, if I click over here, even though I can't click right here because it's out of range, I can still send it flying through that area. So we're going to try doing that as an example for fun. But as you can see, I'm using my body for pressure because he has to move through me to get to the backline or the minion wave. And that just gives me a lot of room to work with. Oh my god, I'm just fucking dead. Wow, that was such a fucking insane Ash arrow. That was perfect, actually. XD. He still gets reduced by double tap? Nice. Alright, so the mistake here is that if Lee Sin wanted to play this, all Lee Sin needed to do was go melee range with Ward Hop. So he could have Ward Hop to engage, go in E range, and then auto Q, auto R, and then just connect with Q. But instead he tried to max range his Q, so he's not able to get into the Lucian, and then he just doesn't have the follow-up damage. So the easiest thing to remember when you are playing a champion that relies on getting the melee range, do not lead with your most important skill. You just need to wait. Bridge the gap, get closer, and then it's just free. But because he forced it like that, technically it's a 50-50, right? Because if he lands it, then he doesn't need a Ward Hop, but why risk it in the first place if it's a 50-50? That's it. That's all you gotta do. That's okay. We're still ahead. We got a lot of gold. Unfortunately, Lucian is 3-1. We're 6-3 on the map right now, but still winnable. Probably this game would have been a better Luden's game, but I do just want to play Leandri's Phase Rush to see how it does, or how it feels, really. Actually would have been totally fine with a Lucian Eye right there. I think that would have been better if he had it. And I'm pretty sure he had it, because he didn't use it on that last fight. Because you gotta remember that you could technically just force me out of lane. And then I'm down CS. Alright. Now, I can't stay in the same spot anymore because I have to play around the potential Ash arrow. We see Kayn topside, so... Well, that's kind of lame. I do want to play around Cannon, though. Good chunk. If he dashes, I'm just looking for ultimate. And it's completely possible that I'm only saying this because I want to mind trip him into thinking that I'm actually going to kill him in a 1-versus-1 situation. So applying mental pressure to people who are listening. Really great technique. Alright, thanks for the 600 gold shutdown, friend. Really nice dash on the ultimate, though. I don't think you're... I didn't expect you to expect I was going to play it like that, but... Nicely played up until that moment. This guy's playing chess. I am playing chess. I would like to get this play, but I have enough for Leandris anyways. I also have the ability to swap the warding totem. Blue trinket. Alright, we reset in the mid lane. This guy is pretty close to having... Bruh, I can't even tell. It's Gale Force, right? Yeah, of course it's Gale Force. I think Kraken's actually pretty good on this patch right now, but we don't really have any tanks, so Kraken is not the best, whereas you can use Gale Force as another reposition into our team. And there's a completed Gale Force, which means I can no longer press R until he's used that as a defensive or offensive skill. But wow, look at that. He's already used Gale Force and Dash, so if we get another QW here, he's pretty much dead. Wow, he actually got me there. I should have just immediately flash QW'd. I tried to play it slow. Well played, though. We're just gonna teleport. I'm too lazy to walk to lane right now, and I gotta break this freeze. I also want to make sure I get this play for some free money. Yeah, where's Lucian at, man? Yeah, the Soraka healing is so annoying. Really good chunk damage, though. I need to put some vision down just to make sure I can play like this. And is there really a reason in pushing right now? Kind of, yeah, because we got Lee Sin invading their topside jungle. I don't remember where Kane is, so that's something that we have to play around. Oh, I fucking misclicked my Q. That's the only reason he actually lives there. That's really poorly played on myself. It was a great ultimate, and I should have got the free kill on the Lucian there, but... It's always the misinputs from swinging your mouse too much. Unlucky. I would like Lee Sin to dive this. I know Kane's below me, so... I'm just gonna hover on the top side. Oh my god, I'm dead. You're telling me that my Soraka died to an Ashe without burning Ashe ult? Feels really bad, man. But I guess you didn't ping it, so maybe that's on me. But I'm gonna grind the Ruby first. This is just for extra survivability. Game's looking pretty even, though. Ooh, look at that. I honestly predict that Cat's gonna be an absolute nightmare on this patch. Which top laners are you projecting the most viability of the new patch? Vladimir... Wait. Mordekaiser... Fiora... Pretty much anything with percentage damage that is also extremely tanky and really good scaling. Kind of forgot who I played against and who I thought was, like, really good. Dear Lord, it's actually just cracked. I kind of take 0 damage, though. The E didn't pull through. It's kind of lame, actually. It's so funny how both sides are receiving healing, though. I think he should have died if my E successfully pulled through, though. Healer. Healer. Kill them all. Nice. Oh, I should have stayed to get the tower gold. That's on me. Or maybe I still get it. Nice. Pretty clear. Yeah, we actually have Archangels now. We're, like, massive. Feeling really good once we finish this. Yeah, I feel the changes on the other champions. Orianna specifically is going to do really well on this patch, though, which is why I'm playing it. Their Ashe is Korean and mine's not. Well, he was forced in ADC, so it's understandable. Besides, we have a challenger mid laner, and their mid's probably, like, maybe platinum. Will Ori do better than Lucian? I honestly have never really liked Lucian mid, except as a counter pick, so we'll have to wait and see. Oh, I actually locked right in that one. I don't think Lucian sees nearly as much play mid as Orianna, but... Lucian is specifically if you're countering like a melee pick mid or top. Or one of those, like, mega scalers like Gwen. Have I been chat banned? Are you asking if you've been chat banned in League, or you're, like, in my chat? Yeah, Liandry's is good. Alright, honestly, we just reset here. I'm looking to buy an Oblivion Orb because they've got quadruple healing champions. It's unfortunate that I had to build it myself, but until she builds Chemtech Putrefier as a second item, I'm just forced to build it. And we're gonna go teleport here as well, just make sure that we have priority for this Rift Herald. Because if we fight this Rift Herald into 4v4, we kind of just win the game straight up. If we force Lucian Dash, I'm also down to just Flash Ult as an ego play to establish dominance. But he knows that now, so I wonder what he's gonna do. What's the play, huh? Well, I will pad my damage stats for sure. Very, very egotistical play from Soraka. The healing doesn't really matter there, you just have to not risk dying in the first place. So moving forward, the silence, really not the greatest. We're probably going to get an inhibitor off this if we play it slow enough. We have full vision on Ashe, we know that Soraka's dead. At most, this is a 3v3, 3v4. I don't want Shelly to die, so we need everyone to move up here. And then we could just reset the dragon here, so if we just want to take this. We could go for the second smash onto the Nexus. I'm kind of down for that. I don't want to fully commit, though. Once this goes in, now we just leave everyone out. Let's just play dragon. Here, you can take a speed up. Alright, looks like we're 4v4ing here. This is really not the best because we have not purchased yet. I think I can actually reposition here and maybe survive. I've got Seraph Ceiling as well. Oh, no. So this is kind of one of those scenarios where you're playing a solo queue game and people just don't listen, but this is obviously not a solo queue game, so I don't mind it personally, but it's really important that when you get an advantage, instead of giving the enemy team an opportunity to take that gold advantage back, that you cut them off and then you reset the map with all your money spent. Because I have 1.2k gold, these people have like 1.5k. There's really never a situation where you should risk giving them what they want, which is a favored fight. Nice ult though. Honestly, we could actually just run straight the Baron here. Against this team, Oblivion Orb, already 250 healing. We could go Zanya's as like a defensive tool, but I think we're gonna go Void here. Just for the extra 20% damage. If they build MR, go up to like 30-40. Liandry's gonna be main item on mages. It'll see a lot more gameplay, and then champions that are reliant as Liandry's as one of their core mythics will also see an increase in win rate. I think that Ludens will take an obvious hit because your magic pin that you get from the item itself is just completely negated by the time you finish the item. You should die to Liandry's, yeah. And I could heal this all back just by spam spelling with Seraph since I have blue buff. Killing Gromp also gives a bunch of HP back, but we should just do Baron here. If we force them to rotate the Baron, it's pretty much over anyways. Because they're not defending mid inhibitor, they have Lucian bottom, which means that most they can invest 3 players here. And then we can just turn with Lee Sin or Ashe Arrow. Like who? Liandry's champions would be... I mean, you could build Liandry's on a lot of champions. Like, Ahri might actually just run Liandry's as core. Orianna as well. Malzahar. Cassiopeia. All champions that could just build other items, but Liandry's... Anything that does extended damage really has the most value with Liandry's, because you're extending the fight, which allows you to get more burn procs. Alright, so, team, we just have to group here. I'm just gonna go back for Void Stat, but we pick a lane here. Any lane is fine, and then we just 5 men. And we pretty much always win. Because there's no way for them to contest us when we have... Well, me personally, honestly, I don't think the Ashe really matters unless she presses R. The only banned champions in my chat are Qiyana, Tahm Kench, and Neeko. Now, the only lane that we're not allowed to go through, guys, is mid lane. So mid lane in this context has no objectives. There's no point in going through mid because we've already taken the objective that is there. So I need these people to back up, but there's no pinging system for some reason, so... I just need you guys to come over here. I'm just gonna spam ping over here. Because if we go through a side lane, we have an objective that we can take that doesn't require team fighting, and then we can also take the inhibitor if they just don't rotate in time. But going through mid is essentially the only way that the game's won, is if you take a 5v5 and they're just not going to 5v5 unless they suck. So, this is easier. This is a lot easier. And if they try to defend tier 2 tower of all things, then they kind of just lose the game, because who actually gives a fuck about this tower? So you can mind control people into fighting for objectives that legit just don't matter, if you're smart enough. Because why contest this when you can just hold inhibitor, right? And if they give you an opportunity to get a pick, then you're in, like, god tier situation. So we just play Ashe ult. Just press Ashe or legit doesn't matter. Hit anybody, it's fine. Alright, so we're hiding the ball and the turret right now. We're gonna wait for Soraka to walk into it. I'm taking a shit ton of damage, but... we are cutting back pretty nicely, though. We just got a kite here. Defend the Soraka at all costs, and it's unlosable. Stay away from the wall, though, so you can't actually just dash into it. Alright, perfect. And I think Lee Sin can actually just find the Q here. I'm gonna speed him up. That should solve it pretty easily. We can just run it through mid as well. Alright, well played, friend. Now, it would have been 10 times easier if Ashe just hit the R button when they're all stacked under tower, but... can't really force people to play the game correctly, can you? GG, lads. Dog Orianna. Get bodied, kid.